Hi, welcome back to C Programming. I'm Dr. Vasu. In this video, you are going to learn the beautiful concepts of looping with for, while, and do while in C Programming easily. If you want to learn more about C Programming and many other interesting topics, please subscribe this channel. If you like this lecture, please hit the like button. That will keep me motivated to create more such videos in the future. Now, let's jump right into the topic. Right? Let us see what the loops are used for. Say repetition. Suppose if we want to print numbers, some 1 to 100, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Or from 50 to 1 in the reverse order, 50, 49 like that. So for such repetitive actions, even suppose if we want to add 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, all the numbers of your choice, or multiply these numbers, right? So for this such type of repetitive actions, we use these looping. Let's the loops come in 3 ways. They are for, while, and do while. Okay, let's take one for loop first and let us see how it works. So I want to display 5 numbers starting from 11. So here, if we see it with a simple program, suppose we have taken 2 integers, n and number, right? Both are integers. The number is given 11, assigned with 11 here, because we want to display numbers from 11. So next, we write the for loop. Here, we have 3 parameters. One is the initialization. This n is initialized. And the condition to continue this loop will be continued until this n value is more than 5. That is, when it is less than or equal to 5, this loop continues. In every repetition, the value of n will be increased by 1. That is incremented. So let's start the loop here with a curly brackets, and we'll print the number first. So 11 is printed here, right? Next, this number is incremented because we want to show the next number. So initially it is 11, 11 plus 1, it becomes 12. Now the loop is closed. So in this loop, whatever the statements are there, they will be repeated starting from n is equal to 1. Once this loop is over, it again repeats here, and this value of n is incremented. N becomes n plus 1, that is 2. Because it is less than 5, this is continued. Now the number is printed. Now it is 12. So 12 is printed. Now 12 plus 1, 13. The number now becomes 13. So it continues here. N becomes 3 here. Still it is less than 5. So this loop is continued. Once the 5, when it is equal to 5, again it is continued. When it comes back, it becomes 6. When it is 6, this won't allow to continue further. So it comes out of the loop and the program will be ended. So let's compile this simple program and execute it. So you get a display of all the 5 numbers starting from 11. So that's how the for loop works. Let us see how it works with the help of a flowchart. So initially, we have to take the first parameter to be initialized. So n is made 1 here. Next, the test condition. This condition is tested whether this value of n is less than or equal to 5. If it is true, then it will be continued, and some statements, whatever the statements are there within that curly brackets, here in this case, these 2 statements are executed. Number is printed and it's incremented. Next, the loop continues. The increment or decrement, sometimes we may use decrement also. the increment operator, this n becomes n plus 1. That is, initially it becomes 1 plus 1, 2. So like this increment operation continues. So this loop will be continued and it continues like this. When the value has n becomes 6 more than 5, the condition becomes false. When it is false, the loop comes out of the loop here and it displays. Maybe if it is the end of the program, or maybe you may be having some more statements to execute. That's how this for loop is executed, right? Next, the same type of functioning can be done with the while also, right? Let us see. We want to display the same 5 numbers starting from 11. So initially, say we have taken integer I1, right? It is initialized here. That is the difference. In the earlier case, in the for loop itself, within that brackets, we put that initialization. But here in this case, we have to initialize separately. So earlier we have taken n, and now we are taking I1. So suppose if this initialization 1 is not done, what happens? Automatically the system gives a default value of 0. Let us see what happens if it is initialized with 0, right? The number we want to display from 11. So number is given 11. Here starts the loop. While I1 is less than or equal to 5, this loop which we are going to write will be continued. Like opening and it displays the number. Number is incremented. 11 plus 1, 12. So number becomes 12. And I1, this parameter which is controlling this loop is I1. So I1 initially 1, this I1 becomes plus 1, so 2. So the loop is closed. So what these parameters within these curly brackets will be executed when the I value is less than or equal to 5. Once it crosses, it will be closing it. So it comes out of the loop and it may be ending or maybe some other program may be there. So let's see. Suppose in this case, we have not initialized I1 with 1. What happens is system gives 0. When it starts with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this loop will be continued for 6 times. That means it displays 6 values. There will be a lot of difference. When it is initialized with 1, it starts with 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 times this loop will be executed. So that is the difference and we need to be very careful here. So compile and execute this. It displays 5 numbers starting from 11. Okay. So here, let us see how this works with the help of a flow chart. We are testing this, this while loop starts with the test condition. Whether the I1 value is less than or equal to 5, that starts with that. So whatever the initialization, it should be done prior to that. Okay. Next, when this condition is true, it continues and executes these statements, whatever there within that curly brackets. So the number is displayed and is incremented, and incrementing of this conditional parameter, right? I1 is also done here. So incrementing is done, and the next, the loop is continued. The loop will be continued till this condition is true. Where when this test condition I1 is less than or equal to 5 is true, this loop continues. When it goes out of it, when it is in 6 or more, then it becomes false and comes out of the loop and goes out like this. Maybe ending here or maybe continuation with some other program. So this is the while loop. Next, let us see the same display of 5 numbers starting with the do while. Okay, we start with the do while here. So it is I1 is initialized with 1 here, number is given 11, and do, it starts with the do here, right? Now the loop starts with the curly brackets and the number is displayed, number is incremented by 1, and the controlling parameter I1 is incremented. I1 plus 1, so it becomes 2, 3, 4 like that, until this while I1 value is less than or equal to 5, this parameter will be continued. This loop continues and will be executed. So once this parameter I1 becomes more than 5, it returns, comes out of the loop and the program is closed. Compile this and execute, we get the display of these 5 numbers. So with the for, while and the do while, we have seen the same action, right? Same action here. So let us see this do while loop, how it is done with the help of a flow chart. The flow chart starts with the do here, right? The statement is executed first. Did you observe the difference? Earlier, when the condition is true, then only the while allowed into the loop, right? Here, but here, this do started with without even testing any condition, these statements are executed. That's the difference. So here, the number is printed and the number is incremented. Now the incrementing of the parameter, controlling parameter is done, right? I1 becomes I1 plus 1, 2, like that. So the testing condition is done here, right? The test condition comes here and it tests whether the parameter is within less than 5 or not. If it is true, then the loop is continued, and if it is false, it comes out of the loop and goes out here like this. So here we have seen the beautiful concept of the for, while and do while looping, right? In the next video, we are going to see the comparison of these 3, what will happen and how they perform. Hope you enjoyed this lecture, and do subscribe and send your comments, right? Thank you.